one Canon 80D, one lens, and here is my thoughts on using it as a real world travel video camera. I'm currently in Europe traveling with my family on holiday, and as parents everywhere will know, when you've got 3 young kids, space and portability is a premium. So I couldn't bring all my fancy video tools such as extra lenses, slider, or drones, or anything like that. I'm shooting this on my trusty little Canon G7X, but I thought the family holiday would be a great place to give the Canon 80D a trial as a family travel video camera. We were just recently in Sardinia near a town called Alghero, which has an old and historic town centre, so I thought that would be a great place to put the camera through its paces for the day. So I made a short movie clip, which I'll show you shortly, walking around the town with the family for the day, doing a bit of sightseeing. The only equipment I had with me for the day were my trusty Canon 80D and a single lens, being the 18-135 kit lens that you can get with a camera, which is about an equivalent zoom range of 28 to 200 millimeters. I also had a circular polarizer on the end of the lens, which acted as an ND filter. And I also had a gorilla pod, which I used to stabilize a couple of the static shots that you'll see in the video clip. So without further ado, here's the short clip I made of Alghero. So my thoughts on a day shooting with a Canon 80D is that it actually does a really good job. One of the main things I liked about this combo is the zoom range that the 18-135 lens can give you. I find a really good everyday sort of general zoom range is 24 to 200 millimeters, and that is pretty close to what this lens can give you. Even though it's not a fast f2.8 lens, you can get a shallow depth of field in the right conditions. The articulated LCD viewfinder is great, as I often shoot from low angles or from the hip. I use the built-in time-lapse function that 80D has, which is fun to play with. I even had to try it hyperlapse with it, but not very successfully. Having slow-mo at 50 or 60p is nice to have, even though 100 or 120p would be better, such as a lot of the new Sony cameras seem to have as a standard feature. I was often competing with my wife to use this camera because it is actually a stills camera first and the video camera second, and it is pretty good at both. One thing I found difficult when using this camera outside in the bright sunlight is the LCD monitor is really hard to see in bright conditions. In fact, it's hard to see any image at all sometimes. That's where traditional video cameras with optical viewfinders come into their own when shooting outside in bright conditions, and you don't have to rely on these LCD monitors. I do have my Canon G7X which I'm shooting this on, and I'm finding I'm using that more than this, mainly because I have it on me and it's more accessible than the Canon 80D. I'll often just have this camera strapped to my backpack and I can whip it out really quickly to capture the moment, even with one hand, whilst carrying luggage and herding the children. However, with that being said though, the image quality is better out of the 80D, and that zoom on that is better than the G7X's. All in all though, the Canon 80D with the 18-135 lens is a fantastic one camera, one lens travel setup, and I can thoroughly recommend it for your next travel adventure for shooting video. That bell means it's bear o'clock, so thanks for watching and see you next time.